Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Tuesday. Didn't record anything yesterday. I was just too busy, so I just didn't fool with it. Finished up all 8 of the deer heads that were in here yesterday and this morning. I've got another slam full room in here now. It is just jam up, not any wall space left. So time to get some more heads picked up and time to mount some more heads. Went ahead and got the next pile that I'm doing up there on that board. And I've got 4 capes in the pickle. I'm going to shave this afternoon. I'm about to eat lunch. Going to come back and shave them. And then I'm going to set out 4 more that we're going to flesh tomorrow and get those rolling, get them in the pickle. So hopefully by the end of the week, we're going to be mounting deer up again. So we're going to get the rack back full and keep on going. Well, what's going on, guys? Today is Thursday, and I have been in the shop working a little bit this morning. Also been to the tire store because I'm about to get the old critter getter some new shoes. This puppy came with some 2-ply trailer tires. You could move the boat and just watch the tires sidewalls just bulge in and out. It was not really roadworthy, and it's an 89 model, so hopefully the axle is roadworthy. But we got to go all the way to the Midwest with this sucker. So I'm getting some tires put on it. Actually got the guy to order me some car tires. We're putting back on this thing that are rated for 87 miles an hour. They say you can use a car tire on a trailer, but you cannot use a trailer tire on a car. So I'll tell you something. I want this bad boy to be getting on the interstate and getting it. So while we've got this thing set up here on the jack stands, and tire's supposed to be in tomorrow. So while we're doing that, I have got some hides in here that I've got getting ready for tomorrow. Y'all, it is hot. I mean, hot. Miserable, hot, humid, everything else. But got 4 capes in there that I got to wash. I've got 4 capes in here that I'm neutralizing that I'm about to tan here in just a few minutes. I got probably another 15 minutes. We'll get them out of there and get them tanning. And then hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to mount up some deer, or 1 deer or something. And like I said, those tires are supposed to be in tomorrow morning, so I'm going to try to get those rims up there to them and get them mounted and taken care of as soon as they show up, so that'll be out of the way. If I wait too long, next thing you know, it'll be deer season and I'll still be sitting here with no tires. So I know how I am. I don't know how y'all are, but I know how I am. Year goes by way too fast between deer seasons. I don't know if it's that or just the deer season is so long that you just don't have as much time as you think you do. But guys, I'm telling you what, you wake up one morning and it's deer season and you're like, oh no, like I don't have anything ready. I ain't got nothing, nothing where it needs to be. So usually I start this time of year. The Deer Hunter Expo is this weekend at the BJCC here in Birmingham. So that's kind of my yearly reminder that I need to get everything found, get everything together. I'm still missing a flashlight. I've got to find my flashlight, got to get my spare batteries, just get everything back from turkey season and everything back into my deer hunting pack and start getting ready to organize because, hey, September is deer season. And once September starts, it ain't no end till February. So there's work to do, but there's also work to do. Hopefully sometime I don't know if it'll be, maybe, hopefully this weekend, I've got a big 9-point, big wide buck that I found last year on one of my cameras. And if everything works out, I'm hoping that in the next week, we're going to get some little bit cooler temperatures, like in the upper 80s. That's cooler. And we're going to try to go over and see if we can find where that deer's at. We're going to jump the truck, take us a little road trip, and go see if we can find where that deer's bedding at. I think I know where he's bedding. There's a real thick area up on top of a hill that's really close to where I was getting the pictures of him. All the pictures are at night. So, I mean, obviously, I can't hunt him where I had my camera. He's through there pretty consistently for about a week, but it's not the right place to hunt him. So I've got to figure out where he's at, where he's coming from. And I don't think he's moving far because where I've been hunting the last couple of years, I've seen a lot of deer, got pictures of a lot of deer and killed a few deer. But it's within, I'm going to say probably 2 to 3 miles of where I had pictures of this deer. And I don't have pictures of him on any other camera surrounding that entire area. So I think he's probably either really old and really smart or young and really smart or something. But he's real skittish. Of all the deer that I've gotten on video over the last few years, this deer is more afraid and cautious of the camera and cautious of his surroundings. Even without me having been in there, he knew the camera was there, and he came in front of it several times, but he would tiptoe through there, just real cautious about the entire area. Like once the camera was in there, he just didn't even like it, even messing around in there. So I don't think that this buck is moving very much or very far. I'll put it that way. But hopefully we'll find something out. There's going to be some kind of sign in there somewhere that tells me where he's at. So the sign I found where I put the camera told me where he was at night. But I think I know where he's at during the daytime. So we're going to move up a little bit in elevation and see if we can't find him. I think he's going to be bedding right up there on the side of one of them hills. But I'm going to sit here and sweat just a minute and wait on this stuff to get done here in a few seconds. And we're going to get this stuff tanned up. And maybe tomorrow we'll get some tires. Maybe we'll mount a deer. And I don't know. We'll do something. Good morning, folks. It is Friday, and I'm about to mount up a big old cool-looking 6-point. Look at that big guy. I've always wanted to kill a big 6-point. Never done it. I shot one 3 years ago. Cut hair off his chest. That's good. Yeah, I shot one, cut hair off his chest, and he run off never to be seen again. But we've got this one right here in the room. He didn't get away. He's on a big 24-inch Ben Mears form too. So we're going to mount him up and see what he looks like put back together again. It's a cool looking deer. He's got real thick, heavy hair. Not real sure where he was killed at. He does not look like an Alabama deer. If he is, he fooled me. I'm going to get my phone put up on the stand here. We'll get started. Y'all, I know that I've mentioned this before, but it's hot. Still ain't got air conditioner in my shop down here. I'm thinking by now I would have taken care of that. It's in the works. My roof for my shop is here. The metal is in, so the next week or two should have a roof. And then once I get this roof fixed, we're going to get air conditioner put in. I can't explain to y'all how hot it is down here right now. But I've done without it for all these years, so I guess I can do without it again, can't I? There's no reason to complain. It could be worse. I could have to go to work working an air conditioner. Right here at my house, hot is just fine. This really is a big old buck. One thing I like about a big body mature buck is just how good they look when they're mounted up. They usually make some beautiful mounts. This one is split really far down the back. So we're going to have some stitching to deal with. But you know what? You sign on that little dotted line and say, I want to be a taxidermist. You sign up for, I want to stitch a whole lot. I ain't going to complain about that neither. We're just going to stitch. Long, pretty coat. It's going to be a good one. You'll get tired of listening to that hum of that fan in the background. You're just going to have to get over it. It's all I got. Get me some screws. Let's see what this big old feller is going to look like here. Right there. You know, the biggest 6-point that I ever saw in my life was in the state of Missouri, hunting one years ago. And the state of Missouri, you could not shoot a 6-point at the time. Because of CWD, there are a few places now that allow it, but Missouri has got a 4-on-1 side policy. And probably the first 30 minutes that I ever hunted in the state of Missouri was on a private farm up there years ago that had a unit. You know what the kids say now, a unit? There's a unit of a 6-point come by me. I mean, just so. I don't know that he was bigger than this one. In my brain, he was 3 times his size, but he was probably about this size. He walked about 10 yards from me down the trail I was hunting. And I just had to sit down there and watch. That was the year before I started bringing the camera with me. So I didn't get a video. Of course, I don't know why that matters. My track record of filming deer that I actually want to shoot is horrible. I hope I can get that ironed out this year. I thought I had it fixed last year, but went into the season with a new Tacticam that I did not fully understand how it worked. I managed to turn the camera on and back off again 3 different times on 3 different bucks. But we got them dead, so that's the really important part. And you hear a lot of these guys say they're not going to shoot if they can't get the footage. And that's fine. If that's what you like to do, that's perfectly fine. Somebody's got to have some good content out there. You can watch some deer on camera get shot. Man, I just like to hunt them too much. If I can get them on video, that's awesome, but I just kind of try to get the camera working and shoot first and ask questions later. There may be a day where I've killed enough of them to where I don't get that excited, but I hope that day never comes. I like getting excited. Alrighty. There's some antlers. Now, he needs some eyeballs. We're going to give some eyeballs. These up here just a hair here. There we go. How's that? On the corners of these eyes, now I have cut away these little blocks. Y'all have probably seen this on Ben Mears videos before. Cut the little block out of the tear duct, put a pin in it where you can pull that block out, tuck that tear duct, and press that block back in. That pin hold everything in place. Keeps those tear ducts good and solid, nice and tight in there. Also left the plastic, been leaving the plastic on the eyes here. I've done this in the past and like doing it. Makes it very easy. Keep the eyes clean. But for whatever reason, about half the time I forget to do it. I just peel the plastic off and put the eyes on. I'm sitting there thinking, well, shoot. But I guess that comes with age or something. Is that what it is? Age makes you forget things? I keep telling myself I'm not that old. My brain keeps telling me that I'm older than I am. I think a lot of it is I just stay too busy. And that's not a good thing. I don't need to do it. But I'm wired that way. Flies trying to land in my ear. Always something going on. I just stay wide open. Got a little bit of a complex feeling like I'm going to miss out on something, I think is most of my problem. I don't know if y'all the same way. Y'all feel like if you don't do it, you won't ever get to do it. It just happens every morning you wake up. That's fine. I guess it's better to have some motivation than just be a couch potato. I already eat too much. It wouldn't take me long to gain about 150, 200 pounds. I need to lose some weight right now. But eating is fun, you know. And eating is, it's not just a necessity, it's very enjoyable. I like to eat. And I'm a pretty good cook, which makes it worse. My wife is a good cook, which makes it even worse than that. So we eat good. Boy, this time of year, got all them gardens come in, all that fried squash and tomato sandwiches, zucchini bread. just about done here. We can pin it up, hold it up. All right. Of course, I dipped that hair right in the glue. Come on, Daniel. What are you doing? I think by now I'd have it figured out. But I'll tell you what, if I ever tell y'all I've got it figured out, you know I was just lying. I promise you I'll do something stupid every single deer. All right, go ahead and get some stitches in him, and I'll be right with y'all. All right, I got the V stitched up in the back of that just to hold all this stuff together. We'll go ahead and get these eyes tucked up here, and the antler burrs. On these eyes, something that I've started doing is I've started cutting that eye skin right to the edge. There is no tucking skin at all on those eyes. Get that hair out of there. And what I've been doing, I'm going to take this tear duct where that block is. I'm going to mash that tear duct right up in that slot where that block's at. The rest of this, we're going to lay right along my epoxy work. See, I've already got the eye shaped the way I need it to be. And that skin is just laying right there on that epoxy. I'll have to do a little bit of work to that eye, but y'all can see that's just got the general, already got the general shape. Just that easy. Without having to tuck and press on all of that epoxy or clay, whichever one that you use, you don't distort the shape of that eye, and you end up with a much better shape, cleaner finish with less work. You can do it the other way. It just takes a little bit of messing yourself up and fixing yourself. And also with clay, you could probably do this with like critter clay and glue. You would need something that's pretty substantial, especially if you're going to shape all of that up before you ever put the cape on it. I like to make mine now. I used to make it beforehand, put the cape on, but we've gotten to where now I like to make mine after I've got the cape over the head. That way I'm not pulling anything across those eyes because that epoxy is still wet. Which y'all can see, maybe Raise this up just a little bit. I can do it without knocking my phone off. Just a little bit better there. All I'm going to do is just get the eye in position. And we're just laying it. What little bit of skin is there is just going to sit right over in that little lip. Just like that. I've already got that epoxy is pressed right to the edge of that eye. Real thin, real tight, right here in the front corner and along this bottom edge. But what I was saying about the clay or the critter clay and glue, you gotta be real careful trying to do this without any tucking skin, because you want to make sure that can't go anywhere, over a period of days as it dries. Whereas this epoxy, it'll set up about 30 minutes or so. Especially within the next couple of hours. You do have a little bit of working time, but the next couple of hours it'll be hardened up. So if you do it this way, you just want to make sure you've got everything where you want it if you're going to use epoxy. If you're not going to use epoxy, make sure you keep a check on it constantly so it don't try to move on you. That's got general shape right there. Just like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a pin and put right in the very corner through that skin right there and into that epoxy and into that foam. And once that epoxy grabs, the head of that pin will hold that skin in there and it can't pull back out. Some of these pins have got flatter heads. It's going to be almost impossible to see that, but you can see the pin's got a good flat head on it. Whereas this one is a little bit rounded, a little oblong on one side. You don't want to use that. You want to get one with a good flat head so that it can hold on to that skin as that skin dries up. We're going to put that right there. I'm not going to push it in all the way because I don't want to press my eye all out of whack with this brad pusher. So what I'll do is we're just going to stick it in there like that. I'm going to use the back side of one of these tools right here. And just press it right in there, just like that. That will hold that in place. Once it gets dry, you can either remove it or you can put your little bit of epoxy over it, smooth that out. You're looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and get these antler burrs tucked up in here. Pin's pulled out back here. a little bit of epoxy up here around especially the back side of these antlers, the side, right here between the burr and the eye, where it always tries to pull away on you. You put your little bit of epoxy in there, it'll give you a chance to tuck that skin right up in behind that epoxy. And you won't have to worry about that antler pulling away, or that skin pulling away from that antler. Just like that. Press the epoxy up in behind that little roll I made where I tucked that so that it can pinch it, hold it in place. You see, it's tucked in behind that epoxy, and then I press the epoxy from down here up against that little roll of skin so it kind of pinches it and holds it. Works really good for me so far. Get this other side here. Butterfingers. Now then, get these ears done and get the back stitched on up. See what kind of ear position we got on this fella. Did not specify. Means I can do what I want to do. Tell you what, a little ice water, a pack of liquid IV, that right there is a ticket. Especially if you're too dumb not to use an air conditioner. You know what they say, you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. Well, I don't know if I'm tough, but I'm gonna stay hydrated anyway. Get to where I run out of electrolytes. I'll be down there acting a fool. Dude, got a lot of skin right there around his ear butts. Just a big old buck. Fill in a little bit in front right there. you know, when you fill in with this clay, I've talked about this before, usually you're going to have to use more clay around the ears than you think. But be careful not to use too much clay in this part of the ear. The clay is going to be more of a, you're going to build muscles up, obviously, around the bottom of the ear, but the clay around the base of that ear is going to fill in to create that transition into that deer's, rest of that deer's face. And a lot of that's going to be determined by the size of the deer. You know, trying to get his skin tailored to this head. I think that's got it really close right there. A flat spot back here, get that. I'll round it out, smoothed up to that burr. Yeah, that'll look nice. So that's about the amount of clay that we need. Get this other one done, and we'll come back and shape the ear butts a little bit. A lot of people like to pre-make ear butts, which is a very good way to do it. Make them and then cut them off. It's a very efficient way of doing it, especially if you don't like the sculpting part, putting these together on the deer. A lot of people would rather do it the other way, or are better at doing it the other way. I'm not really going to say that one or the other is a better quality. I think that a lot of that just is determined by your capabilities and which one you want to do. But I do know that if you pre-make ear butts for every deer that you ever do, you're probably going to make the ear butts the exact same size on nearly every single one of them. I mean, you might change a little bit. I mean, I take that back. You may not make them the exact same size. You may change the size a little bit based on the size of the form, but you're never going to be able to correctly build the ear butts based on the size of the cape, unless it's in the cape. That's not to say that you can't add more clay once you get the deer put together. You can always add a little bit if you need to, but for me personally, that defeats the purpose of making them ahead of time. If you make them ahead of time, then you have to add clay, and you're pretty much in the same position I'm in right now. I just know that these things are so much different. Each one of them is so different. But I just like to custom build to the hide itself. But I enjoy the sculpting. I like doing it this way. And I'm not going to have just the incredible anatomy that you would, you know, like if you used epoxy or something and built every one of them little muscles and all. But on a deer like this, that's not going to show up anyway. Now, if you had a really early season buck, a velvet deer or something, real thin skin, early season deer, that's going to make a really big difference, because you can see nearly every muscle in those deer, especially in those ear butts. And pre-making your ear butts in those may not be a bad idea, especially since they're not going to have that much fat anyway. I think that you could probably be fairly accurate pre-making the ear butts and not having to worry about having to fill in a bunch of extra skin. There we go. Get y'all a little bit better camera angle here. All right, now we get to choose our ear position. Now the great thing about deer's ears, folks, is that they do all kind of crazy stuff. Deer have got the wildest ears. I mean, they can twist around backwards and flip upside down, all kind of stuff. Main thing, you just want to make sure that inner ear goes straight into that brain where that deer is hearing. You don't, that right there, that ain't right. And I guarantee you, everybody knows somebody's got a deer like that on their walk. That's not right. That right there, very common ear position. Very wrong, but very common. You want to make sure that line stays straight. And if you're going to go up with ears, you're going to go up like that. Straight line. If you want to come out with them, come out like that. You want that straight line. Question is, how do we want our ears on this buck? What's going to display the best? I'm thinking, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of liking what it's looking like right here. A variation of this anyway. See if I can get this. Manipulate it a little bit in here to where we can kind of go with this. It's going to be something like that. Something like that. We'll figure it out as we go. I always mess with ears for a while after I get done with the mount anyways. But I like that look it's getting. To me, changing up that ear position a little bit like that gives the deer a little bit more personality. So we'll go ahead and stitch the mouth up. That way, go ahead and let this glue up here get to setting, not let it get too dry up around that mouth. That skin will get dry quick. Mentioned on some videos in the past about bagging the heads. I get a lot of questions about why do I have bags over the heads of these deer while they're drying. And it's to let that glue dry before the skin does, so that it sticks and you don't have a bunch of drumming. Ben Mears had a video the other day that I watched that it was probably the best explanation I've ever heard. He said you want to bag them to make sure they dry from the inside out. Never thought about that before, but that's perfect. From the inside out. You want the glue against that mannequin to dry first, if possible. And putting that bag over there, it keeps moisture in that hair and in that skin, so that as that glue sets up, it dries from the inside out. You want that skin to be the last thing to dry. That way, that glue is grabbed on. If not, when that skin dries, it just pops loose, and then you got wet glue up under that dry skin. All right, let's get the old flipperoo. All right, did you have fun, buddy? A little seasick? Get on up in here a little bit. He's got some damage right there on the bottom of his nose pad. I don't know what happened there. It's okay though, that will not be a problem. When you're doing these lips too, that bottom lip does not need to be tucked very far. If you tuck it too far, all your hair up in here is going to start sticking straight out sideways. I've learned that recently, trying to figure out what was causing my mouth to not look great. But the top lip, you do want it tucked all the way to that, where that hairline is right there. So I like taking this little carburetor screwdriver, I've filed down the end of it where it's not sharp. It's still got an edge, but it's not sharp to cut the hair. And I'll just roll it to where it pulls that top shut like that. And so then you got your hair lays right down, right where it's supposed to. Makes a nice line right there. As far as the nose pad, I've started taking my Dremel tool and cutting me just a little bit of a groove right in the center of where that nose needs to lay. A couple of reasons. First off, it gives me a guide kind of as to where my nose pad needs to sit. but it also gives me a little bit of a dent right there where that spot right in the top of that jaw, it's got that little line in it right there. See where the line is on that nose pad. I want it lined right up with that groove. It's sitting right in that little groove right there. Just like that. Actually, I'm gonna mess that up just slightly. Spread that pad out a little bit first. I quite have it tight enough. There we go. That's much better. Now, y'all see, make sure y'all can see this. See this line on this nose pad right here. It goes right in that groove. Just like that. And it's not a huge detail, but it's enough of a detail that once that deer is done, it's going to be one of those situations where you know it looks better and you can't really explain it unless you know. I'm going to get it lined up now, make sure everything is in line left to right, make sure the hair is color is straight, make sure the bottom lip is tucked evenly. I love that. I think that looks good. I think it's going to turn out awesome. All right, well, let's get it flipped over. Well, actually, no, we've got to stitch up this 5-mile stitch in the back. At least he's got a face, so he can see, look around while we're stitching on. Be like, if I don't do that again. It'll be a miracle. I'll throw these things all over the place. I can't believe they're not bent up and broke. But I can look around the room now while I'm working on it. Be at the barber shop, sitting in his barber chair. I ain't got the facility though, like some of them new men places. It's got they give you a beer and a massage while you're getting your hair cut. Not that I know. Does it look like I've been to the barber shop? I've heard stories about barber shops. I've been bald since I was 17 years old. I couldn't tell you what a barbershop looks like. But you can always buy out-of-state tags with all that haircut money. Have some of y'all heading down to Walmart right now to go buy skull shavers. You can start shaving your head. Think about how much money you spend on haircuts in a year. I mean, think about how much money you spend on haircuts in a year. Tell me you couldn't go to another state deer hunt, or take you a fishing trip somewhere. You know, tell me what it costs nowadays. How much y'all paying for a haircut? What, 30, 40 bucks? Okay, all right, that's enough right now. Stitch him up, and I'll try to work all this air out of here, and we'll get some little nitpicky stuff done there. Don't figure y'all want to watch me stitch for the next 15, 20 minutes, so I'm gonna cut this off and I'll be back in a second. Well, the plan was to film the rest of that buck as I finished it on up, but got busy with the customer, got a couple clients calling me, so, you know, is what it is. But we got him done up. His eyes look a little funny because I left the plastic on them, so obviously they're not clean, but that plastic will cut away once we get all of that painted epoxy and everything else. Cut it away, peel it off, and be done. But I'm just gonna leave the ears, I do believe, like that. I like that look. That's a big old 6-point. Y'all take a look at the buck I'm about to mount. This guy right here. You won't ever see a buck that looks more like the Milo Hansen buck than that one right there. Just a miniature version. And to say miniature with this buck is a statement. Milo Hansen's buck's huge. This buck right here is huge, but the shape of him looks just like the Milo Hansen deer. And he's going on this semi-sneak left Ben Mears. We're about to put him together. I'm going to video this entire deer, start to finish, hopefully. I got a guy coming in a few minutes to pick up a deer head, so maybe I'll get the whole thing on camera this time. But I'm probably going to do that as a separate video, so if you want to watch me mount that buck, I should have it posted. If not, when this video comes out, but shortly after. So y'all keep your eye out for that one. So anyhow, I'm going to mount this guy up, and we will see y'all on the next one.